What's up everybody, welcome back to the Art of Crypto, the birthplace of absolutely legendary gains. In this video, we are just going to talk about Solana and why I believe that you should be focusing on Solana over the next month or so, and why it could give you some very significant gains. But right before I dive right into it, if you haven't already followed me on Twitter at _the Art of Crypto, you are going to want to do so. This is where I am sharing the latest market updates, as well as sharing anything that otherwise wouldn't be shared on YouTube due to time constraints. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure you check out my Twitter. But otherwise, let's take a look at Solana on the daily chart. So for those of you who remember me talking about Solana all the way back here, I was predicting this pump up all the way up to here. And indeed, we did get it. And at the moment, it does seem like we have just wicked above the previous all-time high and, taken out the liquidity there, and then now we are going down. However, I do not want you to sleep on Solana. Just because it's going down doesn't mean it's bearish. In fact, some of the best times that you should be buying. Now, I don't know if you realize in the markets today, a lot of coins popped like really hard. I'm just talking about stuff like sand, mana, stuff like that. And I just want you to understand one little concept, and that is the fact that you always want to be buying when nobody's talking about it, right? Just a week ago, nobody was talking about coins like Kava or like Rune or whatever. And after they pump, everyone's suddenly trying to, oh, it's pumping, we need to get in. That's sort of not the kind. Let's just say that if you have that kind of a mindset, it's probably not going to work out well for you. So what you really want to be doing is buy when nobody's talking about it, right? At the moment, I think Solana hype is dying down a little bit. At least I'm not sure. I don't really track, market sentiment, but I do know for a fact that in the event that you do get a pullback, I really want to find an area where I would, want to buy Solana. And immediately right off the bat, this level right here at about $165 stands out to me because this is a bullish order block. So for those of you who don't know what is a bullish order block, it is basically just the last bullish sort of block, or rather candle, before a massive move upwards. So this right here is an area that market makers usually like to push the price down to revisit this area before, going even higher. So overall, I want you to think of it this way. At the moment on the daily chart, you can see that over here, this is a swing low right here because the low of this candle is shorter than, the two candles next to it, right? We have consistently been forming higher highs right there. Higher lows as well as high highs, right? High, it's a high low, it's a low high, but like it's a higher low, right? We've consistently been forming higher lows. If you just draw a trend line, something like that, you can see that, well, it's not looking exactly bullish, but nonetheless, you get the idea. At the moment, we have been forming higher lows, and I want you to visualize it this way. In the event that you do get a pullback back to this order block right here, if it holds, it is going to form another high, and then, potentially you're going to go to new all-time highs. And in order to figure out, well, actually, before we talk about what are the potential tops for Solana, we should actually start discussing the entry. So if I were you, I would place a limit order over at $165, $162, and somewhere at about $159.5, right? Let me just move that up a little bit, right? So if I had, maybe $1,000 to play with, I would mostly go with $300 here, $300 here, and $300 here, just to give you guys an example of how I would do this. However, as usual, if you're not, used to trading, I still highly recommend that you do use paper trading to practice this before you actually dive in with real money. Because you can always make money in the markets, but once you start losing money, it's very hard to make it. It's very hard to make it back. So those are going to be the entries for Solana, and in my case, I will actually set a stop loss below 100, and well, just to be safe, if you want to be aggressive with your stop loss, I would set it somewhere about $152. But if you want to be safe, I would actually set it at about $150. So that would give you somewhere. Let's assume that is going to be our final position. It's going to give you somewhere about of a 8% stop loss, and the take profit is going to be at a new all-time high, which would at least be 30%. So I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good trade to me. So right now, let's try to figure out if there are any, what are the profit-taking targets when we do get to new all-time highs. And for those of you who have been following me on my Twitter, I have already stated the take profit targets of Solana. So again, make sure you follow me on my Twitter if you want the latest market updates, as well as stuff that I wouldn't otherwise share on YouTube unless I record a video, because contrary to popular belief, it does take quite a bit of time to make a video. So the take profit targets for Solana is going to be somewhere about $240, $270, and about $300, right? If you go even higher, well, sure, I would be happy to see that. But at the moment, I do think that Solana is going to find its top somewhere about $270, and these are going to be your take profit targets. So assuming that that is the entry that you get, you set your stop loss below the order block, and then maybe you take your profit first at 240, that's 50. And over here, that's about 70%. And I don't know about you, but on a large cap like Solana, getting that kind of gains is, I'd be happy with that. So that is going to be the first entry for Solana. So what if Bitcoin starts dumping? Like if Bitcoin goes down really hard, then Solana is going to go down really hard as well. So you are going to want to consider alternative entries for Solana. And at the moment, I do see that that entry will come somewhere about between $139 or $140 to about $135. So if you do get a pullback to this range right here, and as you can see right now, I'm on the daily chart, and you can just see how many times the price has found some kind of support or some kind of reaction between these two levels right here. And I do believe that if in the event that you do come back all the way down here, that is going to act as a very strong level as well. So make sure you set some limit orders over here as well. I would recommend that this would be a good area to buy Solana at about between $140 and about $135. So in the event that you really do dump even harder than $120, in fact, all of these levels right here, except for 170, except for this one, which I'm going to remove, is going to be really good levels for you to buy Solana, because I came up with these levels by taking a look at the daily chart and figuring out like where would be, a very strong, basically these are just key daily levels where price is expected to find some kind of reaction on these levels. So honestly speaking, if you do get Solana at any of these levels that you see on my chart right now, $120, $98, $80, it's going to be absolutely wonderful in the sense that, Solana is probably going to find a bottom somewhere at about these levels. And this is something that I urge you guys to do as well. Instead of going into the 15-minute chart or 5-minute chart or 1-minute chart, like that's something that a lot of beginners do. And that is something I've realized as well. And instead of doing that, right, instead of diving so low into something like the 1 hourly, I don't know if you realize, but in most of my videos, I actually do my analysis based off, at least I start from the daily charts, right? And that is something I implore you guys to do. It's something that will improve your technical analysis by a lot, and it will give you much better trades, simply because stuff that's happening on the daily chart is going to be way stronger than, way more meaningful rather than something happening on, say, the 1 hourly chart, because you do get 24 1 hourly candles in a single day. And before, I'm not saying that it's wrong to go into a lower time frame, because I know for a fact that there are scalpers and there are day traders out there that do immensely well, but the thing that they understand that you don't, probably, I'm not saying it's, you really don't understand that, but something that they understand is the importance, rather, of daily levels, right? You always want to mark out your daily levels and maybe even weekly levels if you have enough price data on that coin. So right now, I can see that on the weekly chart in particular, let me just remove this 165. Yeah, actually, I'll keep it for just a little bit. I'll remove it later. So on the weekly chart, you can see that this level right here at 174.5-ish, right? Ish. Somewhere given like $175, like you got some form of rejections at basically this level right here. So on the weekly chart, like that is a strong level. So then I will zoom into the daily chart and I can see that indeed this is a key level that I missed, because look at exactly where the price came to find resistance over at this level. And if you guys are, you consider yourselves day traders, scalpers, or whatever, right? Just try to mark out your daily levels first, and then you can zoom in to a lower time frame, maybe the 1 hourly, maybe the 15-minute, and see if you can find a trade somewhere along this level. So for example, if I was looking at, this coin right here, I might have taken a trade at this key level right here. Maybe I would have set my stop loss based off of previous lows. My stop loss would be set at about 3%, and maybe my take profit number 1 would be there, take profit number 2 would be there, just an example, right? If you consider yourself a day trader, then base your trades off of daily levels, because you can see how much the price likes to find some kind of reaction on a key level on a higher time frame. So I hope that opens up like a lot of knowledge, or like enlightens you as to how I would usually go about scalping, because way too many of you are starting opening trades in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Or if I go onto the 4 hourly chart, way too many of you are opening trades literally right down the middle, right here or right here. I'm sure some of you guys have did this, and I know I have been through this as well. And once you start understanding your key daily levels, frame your trades on these daily levels. So before you get to this daily level, you're not looking for longs, right? And before you get to this key all-time high level, you're not looking for shorts. And if you did place a short, then, well, there you go, right? You can see exactly, how well the price moves once it gets to a key level. So I know this video was supposed to be talking about Solana, but honestly, I would like to bring back some of the old vibes, back in the day where I give like really, really useful educational knowledge. So I do hope that this is something that you enjoy. And again, if you just want the latest market updates, any coins that I might be looking at, and all of my trades that I might be calling, as well as the sniper trades where I snipe the exact bottoms, the trading education where you are going to learn what works and discard 90% of the things that don't work, and people making some really good profits literally every day, you are definitely going to want to check out the private Discord group if you like information like this. But otherwise, as a bonus for staying until the end of the video, I am actually going to give you a bonus trade just like the good old days. So the trade that I'm going to be looking at is going to be Bake, right? Bakery Swap token is actually looking really primed. Let me go onto the daily chart. Is looking really primed, right? The key level that I want you to mark out for yourselves, right? Make sure you mark out these levels, by the way. I'm giving you guys the exact levels that I'm looking at, and if you can't even mark it down on your own chart, there's nothing more that I can do for you, yeah? So the level that you're going to want to pay attention to is going to be 2.15, right? Once you break above 2.15, right? Once you flip this resistance right here, I do believe that Bakery Swap token is going to do just a beautiful, like, let's try my target projections, right? 40% at least. And on a higher note, you could get a 2x up to even, let's see over here, that's about a 2.5x. That is sort of what I'm projecting, and yes, that could happen. On the daily chart right now, Bakery Swap token is looking like it is finding its bottom, and if I just use the brush tool and draw something like this out, you can see that this is in fact forming a rounded bottom. And if I go on to, you can visualize this, yeah? Rounded bottoms are patterns that I really like to trade, and the reason why I like, patterns like this is because it respects a parabola, right? If you just draw a parabola, something like this, right? This is going to be sort of like your base 1, maybe that's your base 3, base 3, and then, base 4, somewhere on top, right? Like, sure, it's going to take a few months to, fully play out, but just answer me this question, right? If you had, maybe within the next 3 months, you could get a 3x on this coin, that is about 100% return per month. I don't know about you, but that is something that I would be really, really happy to get, and I am sure many other investors would like this as well. So I do believe that Bakery Swap has the potential to go absolutely parabolic as soon as it breaks this level right here at 2.15. Now, if any of you, actually I didn't actually call this on my YouTube, but I did call this in my private Discord group. I mentioned that once over here, at this point right here, let me just zoom in a little bit. So I want you to pay attention to this line right here at about 0.28. So this was a very key daily level of resistance, and not just resistance, but it's just a key level, right? Look at how many times the price got rejected, found support, got rejected, found support. You get the idea. So as you can see, back then I posted this in the beginning of the month, and you can see that once you flipped this key level right here, the moment you flip that key level right there, take a look at what happened, right? Bam! And I'm telling you that Bakery Swap is looking exactly like this kind of setup, so absolutely do not miss it. And again, if you just want, all of the private, all of the setups, you can join the private Discord group, but otherwise I'm not going to shill it like really hard as I did last time. Apparently some people are not very cool with that, and I don't really know why, right? I don't spend more than a minute talking about the private Discord group, and yet people are unhappy, right? I guess you can't please everyone, yeah? But otherwise, once you break 2.14, I do believe that it could pop, and for the take profit targets for this, you absolutely want to mark it down yourselves at 2.5, 3, 3.6, 4.4, 5.4, 6.5, 7.47, 8.4. And in the event that this thing goes to new all-time highs, I want to draw a FIB retracement from that swing top over there to this swing low, and I will mark out the all-time high take profit levels. And I don't know if you're realizing this, but I am actually setting my FIBs just a tiny bit below the FIBs, right? My take profit targets, just setting a tiny bit below the FIBs, because I know that literally everyone is using FIBs, and when you are in a market, you're trying to take other people's money, right? When you lose money, you're not losing money. It's somebody else taking away your money. So it would make sense that, if you want to take profit, take it before they do. So absolutely pay attention to Bakery Swap token, and the all-time high take profit levels is going to be 9.2, 10, 11, 12.4, 14.8, and finally $19. I'm not saying it's going to get to $19, but if it does, that would be absolutely amazing, and you guys can come thank me later. That's about a 8.5x, and I don't know about you, but I would be really happy with that. For now though, there is another trend line that you could respect as well. This is looking something like an inverse heads and shoulders, so absolutely like 100% pay attention to Bakery Swap. Once you once you flip this level like CHZ, you are absolutely going to take off. That is my humble belief. And for now, if you appreciate what I did in this video, please just comment down in the comment section bake, so I know that you appreciate this kind of educational content. But otherwise, a like would be absolutely helpful to the channel. But for now though, may the gains be with you, my friend, and peace.